So, gonna get settled in here. Let some folks come in, see about adjusting my camera a little bit so that I can see it while we're talking. Gonna get this a little bit closer up. Yep. All the joys of doing a live video. I don't do this very often, so it'll be fun to see who joins in here. Anyways, hey everyone, Dr. Frankie here. Gonna have ourselves a little discussion video tonight on some of the new acquisitions that I've got. What's going on, guys? Welcome. Taylor, Ryan, Preston, how you doing, dudes? Vinny, welcome, guys. Welcome. Yeah, new content. That's right, Vinny. I gotta keep you guys entertained. You think a couple of videos a week isn't enough? What's up, Chris, James, DE, Slicey? Oh man, we got a lot of folks in here right now. This is good. So welcome to the live discussion, guys. I'm just kind of chilling at home right now. Got a couple of new knives in this just today and yesterday, and thought I'd share some of it with you guys and take some questions and see if you guys had anything you wanted to ask. So just got this guy in yesterday. Definitely excited about this one. Let me know how the video is showing up. Is this HD for anybody right now, or is this still standard def? But I got this guy in, the ZT0920. Really excited about this guy right here. Let me see if I can keep these comments up on the screen here. Show. There we go. There we go. First question. Where can I get one of those Carter squared knives? So I bought this from Blade HQ. Actually, they have them available right now, and they ship very quickly. So if you want one, go over to Blade HQ right now and pick it up. Maybe the stream will improve in quality. Let me see if I can adjust any settings here. I'm seriously just learning how to deal with this right now. It doesn't look like I can improve this at all. In any case, this is the Carter Squared. Maybe you guys caught this video. This was actually the reason that I wanted to have this live video, because there's something I wanted to talk about. What's going on, Manic? What I noticed as I was playing with the knife a little bit, and I'm going to try to bring this up close to the camera here. It may not show it in standard def, but the blade was touching the backspacer a little bit when I would slam the knife down hard. That may have been a problem from my disassembly that I did take this knife completely apart as soon as I got it. Sorry, it's just not wanting to focus at all right now. I guess my camera will figure this out eventually. Let's see here. Focus camera. Oh man, this is so much fun. These live videos. You can never tell when something is just going to go very, very badly. Sorry that it's so blurry, guys. Well, the ZT0920. There we go. Now my camera's wanting to focus. First impressions, that video is going to go up this weekend, but very happy with this guy. I've experienced all the other knives now in the 2017 ZT lineup, and this one is probably the most practical of all of them. The 0055 I think was my favorite one because of the design and the SLT tab. There was a lot of innovation there. But this one is probably the most functional one, and if you'll take a look here, I've actually got bronze hardware put on this already from Blades We Love. It came with these bronze backspacers and the clip, and I thought that the hardware could use some work. This one is just begging to be anodized. I talked to Nathan over at Spade about that to see what's going on. Very good action on the 920. You're right about that, Chris. I would say that the Carter is something that you probably should... Oh, Vinny, come on, man. Sleeping on the 0055. The Carter is an interesting knife, okay? So, number one, I love Rob Carter's work, okay? I'm a fanboy. I'm just going to go out there and say it. So, take everything that I say with a grain of salt, okay? Now, this was my favorite knife of 2017. The BBM. Everyone loves this knife. This is like the mascot of my channel almost. This is everyone's favorite knife. And it's mine because this has convinced me to enjoy smaller knives. I love the ergonomics, and I think that his design is just excellent. Now, Nick Chuprin's execution of this knife is excellent, so that makes me excited to see what Chuprin's going to come out with next. I'm actually talking to I'm talking to Birdshot IV right now about grabbing a couple more NCC knives. Taylor Pettis, you want me to follow you on Instagram? I can do that, man. I can try that. Where do they come from? Where does what come from exactly? Did you order a Booz Mini Arrow? I did not order a Booz Mini Arrow. I talked to Will Booz about possibly working with him on some of his prototypes coming up. But the Mini Booz is probably not going to be a good knife for me because it's going to be a little bit small. I may end up picking one up. I'm not sure. They may be closed by now. They probably are. But I did not choose to pick one up. I was very excited about this. Like I was talking about, I like Rob Carter's design. You guys remember my Talon from a while back where I sold my entire damn collection in order to buy one knife for like $3,000? Well, this knife is the $135 version of that stupidly expensive knife. And I actually prefer this size and this blade profile to that one. This hollow grind is really nice. Now, a couple of issues that I noticed immediately from the factory. What's going on, Uncle? And what's going on, Mitch? Good to see you guys. Welcome to the party. Just talking about this this new Carter Squared right here. Thanks, guys, for dropping in. Thank you, Gear Bear. Happy New Year to you too, my friend. But this knife came with a whole bunch of black grease on the inside of the pivot. The ball bearings were like overloaded with this super thick black grease, and the blade was actually coated with it too, to the point where when I wiped it off with the cloth, it just like made my cloth black. So I went and had to actually clean this off pretty thoroughly with some rubbing alcohol, replace that grease with some 10-weight nano oil, and then I had to mess around with the lock bar a little bit. I'm not going to lie, the tension on it was not quite right, where the detent was not good and the action was a little bit stiff. And so a little bendy action, taking it apart, bending it back and forth, and some trial and error. And I've got this thing centered up, and I've got the action too nicely. It's actually falling shut right now. It wasn't doing that before. And that's just a few minutes outside of the box. So I think this is going to be a win right here. If this blade holds up and it doesn't smack the backspacer anymore. So let's go ahead and take this apart, guys. Why not? We'll just do a little bit of surgery while we're sitting here. I've taken this thing apart like 6 or 8 times already, so might as well do it again for you guys. So to answer your question more directly, there are caged bearings. Let's keep you guys entertained a little bit here with some surgery. I'm not going to call this the knife surgery. I'm going to do a formal video on this for everyone who doesn't make the live chat tonight. These live chats are things that I don't think people often really want to go back and watch again. So I'm happy that you guys have made it into the chat here. So it's a T8 on the pivot there. Let's see. Large full customs are fun. They give you more knife to fondle. 3.5 is better for regular use. That's totally correct, sir. So one of the difficulties that I have with this knife, just off the bat, is the fact that the construction here requires that you use 2 different screwdrivers at the same time, and I'll show you why. I'm going to unscrew this. Hopefully all of it comes from one side. This has 2 screws that are screwed into a cylinder here, and so there it goes. It's coming apart now. Okay. That's loose. All right, guys. Here we go. Coming apart. All right. So here's the inside of the Carter Squared. So immediately you can see they are caged bearings. And inside of the of those bearings, I'm not sure if it's going to come through on here. I wish that this was HD so you guys could see this really nicely. There's still some of that gunk on the inside there, some pretty thick grease that's going on in the ball bearings, but they've significantly loosened up. I'm getting grease all over my hands right now, so good job, Frank. But I cleaned it all up. Here's the inside here. It's got an internal stop pin. Who makes it? Who makes this? Ontario Knife Company. Let's see. Soak them in rubbing alcohol. Yep, I've done that. I got some of that stuff out. That was just kind of a quick clean job. I'm going to have to do a more thorough job of it at some point. This backspacer, which appears to be titanium. Actually, I'm going to do a little test right here. Yep, non-magnetic. That is a titanium backspacer going on right there. It's kind of freely floating, but you can just put it on here. One thing I noticed is that the backspacer placement when you're constructing the knife again is actually critical to making sure that the action is good. Let's take a look here at the lock bar insert. So this is actually a multi-splintered thing right here where it's press fit onto the titanium. There is a D10 ramp right there on the actual lock bar for disengaging. So I think that it's pretty nice. No, you haven't missed anything. I just took this knife apart really quickly. It only took a second. Another interesting design element on this knife, I'm going to take that off, is the pivot. So I'm going to go ahead and knock the pivot out. What I'm going to show you here is that this does run on these thrust bearing kind of things, these thrust washer things. But notice how this one has got a little edge to it right there. So I'm going to actually try to push this out. There we go. And take a look here. It actually has a little groove, a little pocket and groove here, so that it actually stays in place because the pivot is D'd. I always call it D'd. Surely there's a more technical term for that, if anyone wants to enlighten me about that. But it's nice. It's not a freely rotating pivot. It is flat on this side, and so when you install it in here, you just make sure that that washer doesn't come out of place. So that's pretty nice. They have thought about everything. You know, there's really nothing to complain about here. This has all the things that somebody is going to nitpick about. It's going to the washers run on steel sort of washers right there. The bearings do not run straight on titanium. The pivot is secured so that it doesn't rotate freely. So it's got a lot of nice features. Honestly, at $135, the only real drawback that I see is the plain D2 steel. But I think that that's also not really a big deal. I think the D2 is pretty funny, pretty awesome. If you have been watching any of JB Stout's posts recently, he jokes about it constantly, about how everyone complains about D2, but that it's also a pretty good steel. Yeah, let's see here. Benchmade raising their price too. D-shaped, yeah, D-shaped. Yeah, Benchmade and Spyderco are both raising their prices. Actually, someone just pointed out to me that the Spyderco Shaman, which I bought at $150, is now selling at $181. So I was blown away that all of a sudden now that knife is considerably more expensive than it was. So this is actually just going to go right back together like this. Again, I disassembled this a couple of times and kind of messed with the lock bar tension a lot. When it came from the factory, the lock bar tension was a little bit too strong. And it certainly required a little bit of work. And I do think that it's in a much better condition right now. I'm going to go ahead and try to put this back together live here. You guys give me a lot of pressure doing this stuff live. I don't know how Nick does it all the time. But this is an important step right here. The backspacer actually plays a pretty pivotal role in how this knife ends up coming together. If you do not put it together just the right way, the action can actually be affected. So that's a bit of an annoyance, and it means that their tolerances aren't quite 100%. But if you know what you're doing and you listen to Dr. Frankie, you're going to be okay. Now let's see here. Missing a screw. Here we go. Let's see. If Benchmade goes up even more, I'll be done with Benchmade. Hey, what's up, Spade? How you doing, man? This knife has got your name written all over it, Nate, by the way. Welcome to the party. Yeah, bro. This needs to be Frankified hard. This Carter squared. Absolutely, dude. Also, this 0920. I had this one out here just a minute ago. So I'm trying to get this guy back together right here. I was just saying that the backspacer is a bit fidgety because you have to use 2 screwdrivers and it actually floats a little bit. You really want to be sure that this goes together the right way. I've noticed that you can kind of pull it up a little bit with your tool. Make sure that it's actually all the way in the upward position there. And it tends to result in a better action when it's all closed down. I'm going to tighten everything down here again. If you just joined us, I took this knife apart and showed everyone there's some caged bearings on the inside. There's a steel lock bar insert, hardened lock bar insert, and there are some steel washers that ride on the titanium so that this doesn't ride, the ball bearings do not ride straight on titanium. Well, let's see. Do you guys have any questions about the channel, about what's going on? You guys getting any new knives recently? I'm just chilling at home right now. Just thought I'd go live because I'm basically just doing this. Good job. You just cost me $134. Listen, Slicey Dicey, dudes. I don't know if you guys are following Slicey Dicey. He's a brand new channel, but that dude is just as crazy as I am about knives. And I think he's doing a really good job. His channel is developing. He basically did the same thing that I did right when I started out and just spammed the internet with 1,000 videos, because that's basically the only way to get people's attention. You just got to throw up a bunch of videos and hope that somebody enjoys it. So that's a new channel to keep an eye out for, Slicey Dicey. Pretty solid name there too, brother. I just got a Knife Guys pry bar. That's new for me. What'd you pick up? Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. I'll slow down someday. Don't slow down, dude. The problem is you can't slow down. People stop watching. You got to keep making it. Eventually, you'll get to the point where you can just sit on videos for a little while. Like, I recorded the video today for this guy, but it'll get released sometime later this week, I think. This is a nice knife. This is a really nice knife. Honestly, it is twice the price of the Carter right here, stock, but man, the action on this is out of control. 20 CV steel. I managed to pick this one up for considerably less than the regular price on the secondary market, and I'm very happy with this. Definitely going to get this one pimped out. Going to send this one over to Nate, I think, for a little frunkification on this one. You got a 0450 ZDP. Did you pick that one up on Blade Forums? I saw one for sale there a little while ago. Just got a slip joint today. You know, that's something I need to learn how to have an appreciation for, is slip joints. I'll say the closest thing that I have to a slip joint right now is actually this CRK tie lock. This is something that's going to have a review coming up. Thanks to Mitch for sending this guy along. I will say that this tie lock has got to be the worst invention on any knife ever conceived. What do you guys think? Does anyone else have a tie lock? Mitch, are you still watching this? Mitch is going to yell at me, and he's going to be like, the tie lock is the greatest thing ever invented. But I can't stand it. It's like a two-handed opening for everything. There you go, Mitch. Yeah, you can laugh it up, dude. Beautiful knife, though. It is fancy. Nick loves it, so that's how I know I'm not going to like it. And I love me some Nick Shabazz. Don't get me wrong. That guy he's got a place in our community, and he is often correct. But a lot of times when it comes to little things like this, you know, he and I just disagree on things. And that's the beauty of these knife videos. It's cool to have a nice broad community, a bunch of guys doing these videos, because everyone's going to have different opinions on different knives. I personally don't really like this GM3 too much either. This actually suffers from the same problem. Did you guys, if you guys watched my video on the Liang Ma GSD, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I had a complaint where the flipper tab was in front of where the blade ends up, and the same thing happens here, where the blade can actually hit you. It does hit you every single time, and you can stop the blade if you just keep your finger there. Bit of an annoyance right there, but Nick loved this knife. Nick likes a lot of things that Dr. Frankie doesn't particularly care for. While we're on the subject of Mitch's knives, so thanks, Mitch, for sending this one along. This guy has really impressed me. Integral Benchmade, the Anthem. I know I'm like a year behind everybody in reviewing this thing, but pretty impressive, honestly. That CRK tie lock would not last a month at work. That's totally true. Funny how he complains about a Fuller, but he's okay with a tie lock. Well, you know, everyone has their preferences. I'm not the most consistent person in the world either, but this is just pain and misery and anguish, and it's just terrible. Bit too steep on that, so definitely in love with this, though. I just picked this guy up, full size, large and cozy. This is my first experience with one of these. Definitely smoother than the 25. Super happy with that. I'm finally able to get a non-21 that's got a nice smooth action. So I'm super happy about that. Very nice in the hand. Does anyone else have a large and cozy? Large and cozy is the CRK I've had my eye on too. Yeah, I've been looking at this for a couple of years. Since well before I started Dr. Frankie. You know, I had a Sebenza 25 for a very long time, over a year, and I really liked that knife. But I ended up selling it just before I started this channel, so I could pick up another knife. And I've wanted a CRK back in the collection. I think this is also a good size comparison knife. I always bring out the Para 2, which is sitting over here right now. Just have a bunch of knives on the screen, why not? The Para 2 is a great size comparison knife, but I do think that throwing in a full-size Chris Reeve is also cool. Can you front flip that model? Actually, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to move some of these out of the way so I don't scrape everything in sight. On the, I have a couple of small Nkosi's here right now, and actually on these guys, you can totally front flip this knife. There it goes. Yeah, look at that. Totally a front flipper if you kind of have your action down. Now, you have to have practiced with a Kaiser Feist for about 6 months. And I mean that because this is probably the worst front flipper available on the market right now. I will have a video on this. I dislike this knife so much that it's taken me like 3 or 4 months to even try to make a video on this. Anyone else dislike the Feist? But if you know how to deploy the Feist, you can totally front flip a CRK Nkosi. This one's got a little bit tighter of a D10, but I can actually still do it on my full-size model right here too. Wait for it, wait for it. There it goes. It was close. I think if I loosen the pivot up a little bit more, it would do it. But you can totally front flip this. You cannot front flip the Spyderco Shaman, which I actually just sold. So why don't I go ahead and talk about that? I've actually sold a whole bunch of knives here over the last week. If you follow me over there on the Instagram, you probably saw me post a few things. I sold my Shaman. I sold the BT1000 from Three Rivers Manufacturing. I sold I sold the Black Knight from Elijah Isham and Tough Knives. I sold my Brian Ty Fighter. A bunch of these knives I've sold because I have some really, really big acquisitions coming in over the next couple of weeks. I actually have this guy for sale right now. Let's see. Do you still have your 392? Yeah, I still got my 392s. These two guys, I have a whole lot of trouble trying to want to sell. This knife I've had from the very beginning. This was my first real foray into high-end knives. I was going to buy a 0562, but this one was for sale like shortly after I had started looking at knives, and I picked this up, and this is the knife that gave me the bug. Seriously. This is like the Nick Shabazz Graham Razel. This is the knife right here. This is the one that was like, oh, look at this. So, and then of course I got my Dream 0392 right here. I got a 0562 recently after owning. This 562 won't stick around. Once you've held this, you can't hold the 562. This is on a totally different level. The 562 is a nice knife, but if you get one of these 392s in your hand, you're going to just be like, that one is no good anymore. The ergos on this are perfect. I mean, I think the clip is not 100%. It's a little bit of a hot spot right there, but I love the Eclipse feel. These guys, I can't sell these guys. I love this too much. Look at this blade. Look at what Josh did over at Razor Edge Knives. I just sit here at my desk and I just look at these things sometimes. I'm glad to go live with you dudes because otherwise it would just be me sitting here pretty much just doing this. Anyways, someday I'll make some money off the channel and get a true mid-tech, not a real YouTuber until you have a CRK. I'll tell you what, my friend, I've been doing this for a little over a year now. I got the 3,000 subs, and I've made about $200 off of my ad revenue. 1.5 million views, 1.5 million minutes, 300,000 views, and I've made a couple $100. It's slow going, my friend. And I'm hesitant to start a Patreon. I don't think people want to pay me to do this. They're probably already paying Nick, and people don't want to pay a doctor to do this work. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, what's up, Tough Thumbs? Yeah, 1 year equals expert. Yeah, it's true. I'm not an expert by any means, and I'm still learning. I make a lot of mistakes. Welcome, Tough Thumbs, guys. Listen, this guy has been really cool. I made a video on the Arcform Slimfoot the other day that was, I'll just go out and say it, not very positive. But he reached out to me and he talked to me about the knife and the way that we could improve it. And just a genuinely nice guy, very, very interested in improving the design. And definitely pay attention. Arcform's got a new model coming out that is going to blow everything else out of the water. I'm very excited about that, man. So let's see. Let's bring out a couple of other things. I wonder if Will is in here. Will's Pointy Things. You around in here, dude? Maybe. Slicey Dicey, you've been reviewing stuff for 20 years. What do you review, man? Have I tried the 940? Yes, I have had a 940. Before I ever started the channel, I had a 940-1, the carbon fiber version. Found it a little bit too skinny for my hands, a little bit too small overall. And the Benchmade inconsistency just drives me crazy. I'm going to bring out Mitch's Anthem here. Look at this, guys. This thing is about 3 miles off center, and there is no way to fix it. There is absolutely no way to fix it. I have tried. I've taken this thing apart. No way to fix this. No way to fix it. Yeah, definitely love that. So check these guys out together. Carrie, my buddy, my heckler. Check these two guys out together. So definitely happy to have all these knives in my collection. I'm just going to bring out some of the lookers here. I'm open to any questions. I'm just hanging out with you guys right now. I don't really have a whole lot to show you, but I just want you guys to talk amongst yourselves, talk to me, ask me some questions. I'm just hanging out. Now here's a knife that certainly needs a video. I've made like 11 videos, and I have yet to make one on this. Man, oh man. Full custom Peter Rosenti Nirvana. The very last one. You can see my Dr. Frankie skull back there in the background. Oh yeah. Very, very cool. Love the trasher. Absolutely, guys. This thing is incredible. That black Damascus, unbelievable. Can you do a size comparison of the 920 and the 606? I definitely have that in the video. Let me move some of these knives out of the way. Let's not scrape anything up here. So you wanted to see the 606. Let's do that. Ever go sell? If you're going to sell that, let me know. Ontario Carter, any good? Yes. Yes, it is good. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring it out to show you in addition to these knives right here. So look at these. The 606 and the 920 are almost exactly the same size, and this Carter Squared is right up there with them. A pretty large size knife, this Carter Squared. Now, if you were here at the opening of the video, I actually disassembled this already, showed you that it's running on caged bearings, and that I had to kind of mess around with some of the centering and then some of the lock bar tension as well. I've got it all centered up and everything looks good now. The detent is a little bit more snappy. This doesn't have the world's greatest detent. It's a little bit soft, but you can tune it a little bit with the lock bar. Something I also noticed is that when this thing comes down very aggressively on the backspacer here, there may be it may be coming into contact. So I may have to talk to Blade HQ and/or Ontario Knife Company about the fact that this is touching. I'll show you how close the tolerances are on that. Let's see if I can get it right up close to the camera. Look how close that comes to that backspacer. And if I put some pressure down on the blade, you can see it actually is going to go down and touch. So that's a thing. That is a thing. I actually mentioned it to Rob Carter this evening, and he said that it looks like it did smack once. I'm not sure what to make of all that right now. I will say Rob Carter is one of the coolest guys in the industry, dude. He's just a nice dude. Very, very interesting history and story in terms of how he became a knife maker. And so it's nice to see his designs kind of trickle down to the common man. One of these warfighters in his full-on Rob Mascus and Robtanium that he forges himself, you know, that's going to set you back a few grand. So kind of interesting. What's your favorite frunctification you've ever done on your knives? Let's see. Ooh, that's a good question. Probably that 0392 frunk that I had when I changed the Bowie into that green 0392. I still regret selling that knife, but it ended up being for the Rob Carter Talon. So definitely. Perfect knife to pimp. This is going to be a nice knife to pimp, and this one too. Both of these, I think, are going to get... have you ever done a video on the Carter Prime? No, I have not. I didn't really like the Carter Prime design that was based on the Custom Generalist. That was a little bit squarish for me. I just didn't think I was going to enjoy that. I love this design. I love this handle design. Of course, I had that full custom Talon, so I did that. Why did you get rid of the Bowie? Because I bought a full custom Robert Carter for $3,000 and I was out of money, and I was like, okay, well, I can sell this. So, Mr. Gearbear, you don't like the green? Yeah, I know. Carter is a sexy beast. Yes, he's a sexy beast. He is, and so is the knife here. Absolutely love this thing. Very, very well done. Really nicely executed. The action is starting to break in. The blade is falling down under its own weight. I just took it apart again, so it's not going to be quite as smooth. It will have to kind of re-break in a little bit, but this thing is really cool, guys. Do I still have the custom? No, I sold the custom. I ended up selling it because I was way too overextended, and $3,000 on one knife right now is just a little bit too much for me. I'm not a full-fledged neurosurgeon yet. One of these days I'm going to get there. About 2.5 years from now, I'll start making real money. But right now, I'm just making kind of regular money. So, let's see. I did like the green on the Isham and the Tough Knives. I loved that one too. I loved that. That was a very cool looking knife. I had a guy that was way too interested in that knife. As soon as I bought it, he was jumping down my throat trying to buy it from me. Actually, he might be in here right now. HK, I wonder if you're in here right now, man. Anyways, he's going to be getting that knife. He wanted that thing so badly, and so I was like, okay, sir, well, I need that money anyhow. And I made a great video on it, and it's absolutely beautiful. And look out for the rest of the Black Knight satellite knives. Tough Knives, if you're still in here, man, those are some sexy-ass knives, and I think people are liking it. What's happening? You ever plan on selling the BBM? Sir, if you have $1.3 million, I will sell you the BBM. That is going to be my price on the BBM. This is way too cool and way too nice, and probably my favorite knife ever, so I don't think I'm going to be selling this, guys. What you're going to see, though, is a stream of knives that are going to be very similar to this one. This is going to start being sort of my common theme amongst some custom knives. I just talked to Bill Koenig a little while ago. Yeah, I do want a Bugatti, actually. That'll pay for about half of one of those new Chirons. I do love that. That car is pretty cool. Let's see, what was I talking about, guys? This Rob Carter, the Tough Thumbs, all those things. Anyways, somebody asked me a question. What are you guys interested in? Love my custom BBM. Just want to get that one. You know, if I could convince Nick and Rob to do a second run of this BBM, you know, I think that they would sell out. They could probably sell 400 or 500 of these things. They may have only made about 100 of them, and they advertised them a little bit, but it was very vague when it first came out about what this was going to be, kind of what the size was going to be, what the customization options were going to be. And so I just kind of spec'd one out, and it just kind of came. I just keep driving my Hyundai and have all the knives. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, dude. I got a Toyota 4Runner from 2004 with a giant dent in the back door because someone ran into it. I got a check from the insurance company, and I spent it on knives. True story. Doc, I do like the green because the knife is invisible. No, I like green. I'll tell you why I like green. Green is a difficult color to achieve, actually. Jeff in here, Tough Thumbs, was telling me that he doesn't like doing green. And it's true, because green is a very tough color to achieve. If you know anything about anodizing titanium, you know that that you have to do it at very high voltage to achieve a green. So you have to have a powerful source, energy source, and you have to kind of have your tuning going on there. Yeah, Xbox knives. He knows what I'm talking about, the black and the green. I was an Xbox guy, I never was a PlayStation guy. But it says a lot when someone can achieve a nice green there. Speaking of a nice green, I just got to bring it out just because I saw it right here. This Gaff Co, though. Really, dude? This is sex. This is green. This is one that I'm going to have trouble selling ever, too. This is the most Frunkalicious knife that was ever made, just straight from the maker himself. Let's see. My wife is starting to ask questions about how many knives. Why haven't you jumped on the Grimsmo bandwagon? Well, that's because, honestly, I wasn't... I'm not willing to pay the secondary prices on the Grimsmos. They're very expensive secondary. And I wasn't able to get in on the Norseman or on the Rask list there. And to be perfectly honest, their designs don't really speak to me. They're nice knives. I can tell that they're very nice knives. But, you know, we buy these things on a very subjective basis. You know, some of you are not going to like this knife at all. Some of you are going to think this is the dumbest thing you've ever seen in your life, but I absolutely adore it. So it's a very subjective thing in terms of which knives I choose. 2 wood murder for black tie. That Gaff Co is the coolest, very much. I haven't tried any real traditionals yet. No, I'm not really a traditional kind of a guy. I'm much more into the modern stuff. Let's see. He sells them for $1,300 now, same as secondary price. Yes, I know. They sort of price themselves into that category. And to be honest, for $1,300, you know what I'm buying for $1,300? You know what I'm going to buy for $1,300? I'm going to buy this. This is a fully spec'd out Gaff Co, top of the line. I'm going to buy a Peter Rosenti, definitely. This knife was about $1,300, worth every penny. I had a guy offer me $2,000 to buy this, and I said, "No, sir, that's fine. I will not be selling this." Craig Brown has the Servo, similar but $550. Completely correct. And just you guys wait. In about 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to have my Servo. Yep, and mine is a little bit special. Mine is not anything like the ones that you've seen so far out there. Totally different. None of the windows. None of the inlays, none of the it's got a little bit of Timascus on it, but definitely some special finishes. Actually, I took a little bit of it from the BBM here. So if you want to look at this and imagine this as a servo, you're getting a little bit close to what mine's going to look like. Very, very excited on that one. No, I had a Stinger XL. I managed to actually just ship it out today. I made the review of it recently, and that will be going live on the channel sometime in the next couple of weeks. It wasn't one of the maker's choices. It was just the suspended animation version. To be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Ferrum Forge Knife Works. I'm not gonna lie. I actually have 2 videos with Ferrum Forge knives coming out here pretty soon. I've got one on the Gaff Co spinner collaboration and comparing that to the CKF knife. Someone just asked me about CKF. I really like CKF. Some of their designs are a little bit weird. Definitely, I liked the Gaff Co collaboration, and I think that Hobag collaboration should probably be pretty nice. Pretty nice. Does the Ontario have steel scales? No, this is full titanium and a titanium backspacer. Titanium frame lock. D2 steel, caged bearings, hardened steel insert, $135. Robert Carter design, full-size knife, 6.5 ounces. You can go check out my video that I just published. I'm just sitting here live right now. Ferrum Forge shop is literally blocks from my house. That's pretty cool. I think Elliot over at Ferrum Forge is a brilliant mind. You know, I love the process that he uses in developing his knives and understanding the sort of different qualities that the different components need to have, whether it's the toughness or the hardness of the steel or the composition of it and all that stuff. But it's just kind of not ideal. It's weird. What's happening, Locke? Oh, cool. You're in SD. Yeah, I don't know why I'm in SD. I have really good internet here, but it just stays in SD the entire time. I'm gonna figure that out one of these days and see if I can't get that to improve. Let's talk about another knife real quick right here. I just saw this one sitting here. This is the Blade HQ exclusive potato. What's happening? This is the Blade HQ exclusive Mannix and M4. This guy is actually sold out. I just realized that it's totally sold out. If you didn't grab one of these guys are gone. They're going to start selling them in DLC coating pretty soon. But I ended up liking this knife so much, I was going to give this knife to my brother for Christmas. Yes, I have a brother. But I liked it so much, I just ended up buying him a new one and keeping this. It is so good. I actually used it at Christmas. This thing destroyed some boxes and some blister packs. Absolutely incredible. Love this one. What's happening, Eli? How you doing, brother? I have my M4 Manix right next to me. It's awesome. It is. It is. Very good knife. Just saying that this one impressed me so much that I decided to keep it for the permanent collection. This one is going to stay forever. This is just going to be a beater. This is going to be a size comparison knife. This is going to be a carry when you don't know what else to carry kind of a knife. I do like it a whole lot. Let's bring out a couple of more fancy knives here on the for some nice pictures. Look at these. Look at these, okay? JG Custom. Jason Guthrie Scouts. See, I'm just screwing around. I'm literally just sitting here. I'm literally just sitting here and talking to you guys right now. I'm just hanging out at home. Love these knives, okay? Jason Guthrie has totally changed my entire opinion on Teflon washers. Oh yeah, copper shred. He just he did his top 9 on Instagram, and the copper shred ended up being his #1 most liked picture. So I thought that was cool. But take a look at this guy right here, marbled carbon fiber. Oh, let's get it opened. Rose Damasteel. I've never had a Damasteel blade before. Unbelievable detail. You can sort of feel the etch. That was something that I always wondered. Can you feel the etch? Yes. Yes, you can. Fancy, fancy. Now, this belongs to my buddy Nico at Today's Grill, Tomorrow's Beater. What was the price on these? Very fair question. I don't always discuss prices in my videos, especially on the customs. It's one of those things that, like, if you have to ask, you know. But this one cost me right at about $830 in this current spec. It was $750 for a carbon fiber front with the aspirated scales and the plain back and the plain M390 blade. $750 plus it was like $60 or $80 just to ship the knife over. So and then a couple of other added things. I want to say that Nico's knife here, he got the marbled carbon fiber, the rose Damasteel. He got a Damascus clip, Mokutai clip, and he got the blue G10 liner on there. I think that one ended up costing somewhere around $1,000, a little over $1,000. Do you have any tips for someone who's only been collecting for about 2 years? Well, I've only been collecting for about 2 years, so you'll have to be a little bit more specific than that. I can just say buy quality over quantity. I'll say that having a good knife in hand is worth way more than having a whole bunch of crappy knives. I'd rather have a very good $300 knife than 5 really bad $60 knives. That's all I have to say about that. Nico's knife is my favorite. Trasher is chisel. The Trasher is chisel ground. Buy low, sell high. What's happening, Forza? How you doing? This is chisel ground, so you'll see that it's satin finish on this side and then flat on this side. I actually like that. The thing about this chisel grind and this knife in particular, this pushes me to let go of my OCD. I'm a surgeon, and so I am all about a very high level of organization and meticulous sort of symmetry about everything. This knife is totally just asymmetrical. From the scale itself, completely asymmetrical. The grind on this side is totally different. It's satin ground over here, and then it's green, and then it's got the clip. This one is like letting go. This knife, whenever I hold it, whenever I carry it, this is an exercise in letting go. And I definitely appreciate that. That's going to factor into my sort of final diagnosis here. You know, I find that I keep a lot of my knives a really long time before I end up making that final diagnosis video. Some of them turn around pretty quickly because I figure the knives out, but some of them take a little bit of extra time to figure out. While we've got all these South Africans out here, how can we do a video without busting out the Gareth Sham Woori? The smoothest, sleekest front flipper on the market. You would not believe how unbelievably smooth this is right here. Watch. Oh, it just falls. A tiny, tiny blade just falls under its own weight. Unbelievably smooth. Very, very cool. Man, I want that Sham Woori. Yes, I've had a few offers on this one as well. Very, very nice knife. Beautifully done. Look at how he integrated that lowrider pocket clip. Last time he posted on Insta, they were gone in minutes. You know what? I'll tell you a secret. If if you want one of his knives, he's always he's in the habit of posting the fact that he's going to have a sale, if you message him when he posts that he's going to have a sale, you might get one of the knives. By the time he actually posts the sale itself, the knives are usually, there's probably like 1 or 2 of them left. I totally missed the last one by about 1 post. I was sitting there clicking refresh, and then I had to go pee, and I totally missed it. After 4 seconds, I had missed all of them. They sold out in less than a minute. It was unbelievable. Let's see here. Well, while we got all this carbon fiber out here, we cannot forget the Shirgorov F3. This knife has totally blown me away. Super amazing stuff. I've got an LC200N mule coming in, and so I'm going to do a video pretty soon talking about some of these nitrogen steels. This is Vanax 35. Vanax is very similar to... Actually, this is like a nitrogen M390 if you look at it chemically. There's tungsten, there's vanadium. It's an incredible steel. And this has one of the most amazing edges I've ever seen in my life. This has Nitro V steel. Actually, my Gaff Co also has Nitro V steel, which is a new nitrogen steel. Once I get an LC200N over here, I'm going to make a video talking about some nitrogen steels. I want to study that a little bit more. I want to make it sort of... understandable to everyone about what that really means. Do I have a smoke laying around? Actually, no. I sold the smoke just this past couple of weeks. A lot of new knives coming in, guys. So I just got confirmation today that my Koenig Knives Arius is done. And it is absolutely amazing. It is a one-of-one, totally Frankified, customized, and incredible. That's coming in. My brown knife Servo, which is also going to be 100,000,000% unique to me, is going to be coming in here in the next week or so. I also just scored a new Brian Nadeau mini Typhoon. Did you guys see the post that he did a couple of days back where he had that sort of green dragon scale pattern on the mini Typhoon? Well, guess who's the idiot who pictured that one up? Did you get the new sculpted scales on the Koenig? You bet your ass I did, dude. Carbon fiber, the new sculpted design. He actually made me a special number 13 of a 12 set limited edition. So I'll show you that in the video. Nitrogen is interesting. I just don't know how it reacts with chromium to 4 carbides. Or if it doesn't, it relies on the other carbides. It relies on the other carbides. Again, I need to study that a little bit more. LC200N Shaman would be awesome. I'm 100% going to pick up the LC200N Native. I would love to see LC200N expanded across the lineup. I think an LC200N paramilitary would be a hell of a knife. I think that would be an extremely compelling choice. I think... that the Shaman would be a pretty good choice as well. That's a pretty thick blade stock. I don't really know how thick the LC200N comes in, but I'm going to have my mule team coming in here in a few days, so that should be really cool. Vinny, what is that? I can't see what that icon is. You must have put some type of going to sleep emoji on there. I can't even imagine what you're talking about. Freaking Vinny. Thank you for sending me your... Hoback rolling nonsense, by the way. Here's a question, guys. Here's a random question. I'm going to poll the community on this. What do you guys think of the Hoback rolling D10? Comment now. Tell me what you think. Do you guys have any experience with the Hoback rolling D10? I think it's a giant pile of shit. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to... This is unfiltered. This is live right here. I don't need to monetize this. Everyone who's going to watch this is watching it right now. Talk to me about the Hoback rolling D10. When you're finished with your fellowship, do you think you're going to stay at the hospital or go into private practice? I don't know yet, man. That's a very good question. We will see. Garbage. Tough thumbs. Rolling D10 is garbage. Thank you. My Ferrum Forge and it felt weak. Shots fired. Absolute garbage. Yep. Poop. Yes. See, that is my problem. I don't understand. I have a video coming up where I'm comparing the CKF Gaff Co spinner and the Ferrum Forge spinner. And the CKF D10 is, magnificent. It is incredible. And then the D10 on the Ferrum Forge is garbage because it's that tunable thing where you have to screw it in to the point where it just sucks. I just don't understand. The CKF nailed it for less money. I have to adjust it about once a week, but my detention is what I want it to be. But why do you have to adjust it? Why is there any adjustment in there? The D10 on the ZT is perfect. The D10 is perfect. It never has to be adjusted, ever, unless this D10 ball falls out. The D10 on this BBM, perfection. Perfection. Why does anyone need to adjust it? I just don't understand. I was saying this to Vinny tonight, and Vinny's going to give me a hard time. But the people that have a D10, whatever, okay, can we send the screw? Anyways, that thing is just totally useless. So tune your D10s from the factory, guys. That's it. How was med school for you? I'm on the medicine path and slightly concerned. You should be completely concerned, dude. It's awful. It was like a very difficult experience. Now, I did 4 years of medical school, and now I'm doing neurosurgery residency. I'm in my 5th year of neurosurgery right now, and it's at 7 years overall. So that's like 11 years after college that I got to keep going to school. So forever and a day. How far along are you? Are you in medical school? Are you applying to medical school? Hell, I'll give medical school advice. Just like you like some knives and not others. That's true. Totally. This is totally my opinion. My opinion doesn't matter, guys. I'm just a dude. If you like it, let's see. Yeah, that's true. If you guys don't agree with me, that's perfectly fine. My opinions don't really matter. They're just my opinions. I just happen to have the ability to put this on camera and talk about it. Undergrad kinesiology, thinking about med school, but that shit's scary. Do it. I don't like blood. I've seen too much of my own. Well, most of these knives never cut other people. They cut me way more than they cut anything else. So that's true. Well, I do some cutting. So what does Dr. Frankie use his knives for? Well, I'm not really a heavy user. I'm not out there batoning wood. I'm not out there starting campfires. But I do carry this thing. I use this about like a man would use a watch. They'll tell time once a day when they're not looking at their cell phone, and I'll cut something once or twice a day just for shits and giggles. If there's a package that could be easily opened with my hands, I might use my knife to cut it open. If there's if there's something that just needs to be opened, I'll use my knife. Sometimes I have to cut a rope because some of my surgeries require rope to be cut in order to sort of tie some weights to it. Sometimes I have to remove hospital gowns after the patients go to sleep. Sometimes I open boxes before I drill a hole into somebody's head. There's a kit that comes with a drill in it that I use to drill holes in people's heads. So various things I use this. And then, of course, for the regular stuff, food prep, stuff around the house. And then basically just opening the next knife because I open knives pretty much constantly. Emergency McDonald's straw tracheostomies. Any fixed blades besides that Spyderco? I love Bark River. I've been tempted by a lot of fixed blades. Actually, it's sitting right here somehow. So this is my go-to fixed blade. Around the house, this is my Maximet Mule Team right here. This has replaced 100% of my need for basically any other fixed knife. I have the LC200N Mule coming in, so that's a little bit of cheating going on. I actually went ahead and picked this up. Why don't I just do this? I'm going to entertain you guys with a little bit more surgery going on here. So here's the Spyderco Mule Team. This has got the natural micarta handles on it. I actually just got these awesome carbon fiber handles from Halpern Titanium, 3D milled titanium. Supposed to go on here. I think that's really cool. I'm going to put these on my LC200N. I like the canvas micarta on this one because micarta kind of shows some wear and tear over time, just like the Maximet, but the carbon fiber really won't, so that'll go well with the LC200N. That shouldn't stain at all. Bark River is a stellar fixed blade company. I stare at their designs all the time. They are absolutely beautiful, but I just don't have a use for a fixed blade like that. This is all the fixed blade that I need. I open most of the boxes that come into my place. I use this to open it, and I just every now and again I'll need to strop it up. I don't really have to do too much. Speaking of strops, this is why I enjoy this live stuff, and I can just do an hour-long video and just talk to you guys about this. This is my strop. It says Dr. Frankie. That's pretty cool. This is from my buddy Z-Strops. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram. Go and check out Z-Strops. He's a pretty cool guy. He sent me this 3.5 micron strop right here. Z-Strops, handmade in Rhode Island with the finest materials and highest standards of craftsmanship. in association with RJ Custom Engraving. So super nice piece right here. Beautiful piece of wood. Very, very nice strop. Been using this on just about everything. Throw this on here, run it a couple of times up and down here. My Maximet mule right here. Just run a couple of things. Now the tip on my mule is a little bit broken off. I think that I may have screwed that up at some point. But just a couple of runs on this guy and this thing becomes absolutely terrifyingly sharp. So I actually learned a technique from watching Spade Knife Works video on how to strop a knife. If you guys don't know how to strop, go and check out his video, and he explains that very nicely. But these Z-strops from my friend, I think his name is Preston Zwilich or something like that, unbelievably nice. I'll strop about anything that comes in from the factory and give it a nice little touch-up on the edge, and it changes it into something absolutely terrifying. So yeah, this thing is quite sharp. Very, very, very sharp. Actually, I can show you a couple of knives sharpness right now. I'll put this guy away so I don't cut myself. This is the that Carter. This is how it came from the factory. Look at this edge. This is the factory edge on the Carter. Carter squared. Unbelievably sharp. And if you caught my video earlier, they actually did an amazing job of sharpening the knife because the blade heel is completely sharpened. Unbelievable. I'm jealous. I use old belts. Well, that's what I'm saying. Check out Z-strops. Now, his strops cost some money. They're not totally cheap. I think that one was about 60 bucks. But it totally changes the way I use knives. I don't need to sharpen almost at all anymore. I just use the strop. Have you tried diamond lapping films? There are some grade 3, 1, and 0.1 microns out there. Actually, yes. Why don't I just share with you my my secret sauce right here. This is some 3.5 micron stropping stuff. Picked this up on Amazon for a few bucks. This is some diamond lapping stuff. Great stuff. Yeah. Doc's is nicer finished. Hey, Nick. What's up, dude? Nick Shabazz, everybody. It's like Elvis just walked into the building. What's going on, Nick? Oh, so let's see. We've been having some fun here tonight. What do I have to show you guys that I haven't shown you yet? Not a whole lot, dudes. Getting pretty close to running out of content for you guys right now. Got this guy in. Got the 920 in. Got the Carter 2 Quarid going on right there. 2 Quarid. 2 Quarid for you in D2 steel. Got the Inkosi, got the 920. Absolutely in love with those guys. And I've got some serious hardware coming in this week. Early impressions on the 920. I did just make this video today, my unboxing and initial impressions. I also made a quick knife surgery video that I'll publish shortly thereafter in converting this to bronze hardware from Blades We Love. But the 920 is seriously impressive. This was probably the most functional of the 2017 ZT releases, probably the most of a user kind of a knife. The 0055 was nice, but a little bit funky, not super usable. And then the 0850 was also a little bit strange, a little bit funky. The 6-shooter stuff was a little bit strange. The construction wasn't all that nice. But this one, the construction is very nice. The action is out of control. And it's just a nice big chunk of usable blade. Very tall flat grind. Go watch Nick's review. I pretty much agree with what Nick says. Other than the whole murdery thing, this is a little bit big. In my hands, perhaps it doesn't look quite as big. I'm pretty sure Nick's hands are about this big. Yay big. It's about this. They're about half of the diameter of this Olight. I haven't seen. What I need Nick to do is do a size comparison. I need you, Nick. I need you to put your hand on the table, and I need you to put the Delica right next to it, because I need to know, Nick. The hands are so small. That's a bit generous. Oh man, I love you guys. No, this is a lot of fun. I think that it's great. What I love about the community, and I said it earlier in the video, is that there are different people with different opinions on different knives, because so much of this is super subjective. You know, some people out there think that this knife is super freaking ugly, and I think it looks great. So I went and picked it up, and some people won't. Some people think that Chris Reeves knives are just no fun and they're stupid and they're never going to buy another one, but I happen to love them. A lot of people actually love these knives. Some people think that this is big and murdery and just not well suited for them, but this fits my hand quite nicely just because I have a slightly, I have the hands that I have. So knives are a bit like shoes in that regard, that like they kind of have to fit you in order for you to really like them. And you also have to like the styling and you have to like the function. So it's a very personal thing. I think that it's important that at least we, as knife reviewers, I mean, if you call me a knife reviewer, I'm just a dude who talks about knives sometimes. It's important for us to identify where the quality is and where the quality is not. I certainly think that there's value in talking about the fact that this Benchmade Anthem is 7.3 million miles off center and is not ever going to be corrected. So that's a thing. So it's important for us to identify where the quality is and where the quality isn't. But a lot of times when it comes down to these things like my final diagnosis videos, those are more of a personal thing. Some people are going to like this knife. I spoke to a few guys that owned this knife and then sold it. This was my favorite knife of the year, and some people didn't like it at all. So I don't know. It's all very subjective. So I appreciate that you guys at least are listening to my opinion, that somebody gives a rat's ass about what I have to say. It's a lot of fun. I'm just screwing around. I have free time tonight, so I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I would be sitting here just flipping these knives by myself anyways. I mean, reviewing isn't 100% objective. No, it's not, my friend. We both know that very much. Anybody want to buy a bounty hunter, by the way? I totally bought this knife, and I'm about to take a very hot, steaming bath trying to sell this again. I didn't ever intend to really keep this knife. I just wanted to review it and take a look at it. Yeah, see you later, Jimmy. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Got this Boba Fett bead on it. If anyone wants it, just let me know. Hot steaming bath. I'm using that. Absolutely, dudes. You should. You should. This is a cool knife, and I would love to sell it to somebody who can appreciate it, but it's very expensive. This damn thing cost me nearly $800, and I'm probably going to be able to sell it for about half that, so we'll see what happens. I'm not going to actually drop it that much, but we'll see. Size comparison posted on your Instagram. All right, I'll get to that in a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm stuck here on the live mode right now. Anything you guys want to ask me? Ask me a question. You guys want to see a knife? Ask me about any of my knives, whatever. What's your price on the Bounty Hunter? My friend, I was initially offering this at $750. I just dropped the price to $700. This son of a gun cost me nearly $800 brand new. All right, good night, Nick. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Appreciate your presence as always. We'll talk to you soon. So if anyone's interested, $700 selling this guy. That's a bunch of money off of the asking price, and they're going to be pretty much gone soon. So any other questions, dudes? Any questions for the frunk right now? If not, I may end up wrapping this up. We've been here for about an hour. What other EDC stuff do you run? Okay. All right, let's see. So maybe if you follow my Instagram, you may also notice that I pretty much always have a light on me. That's actually a function of my job. Let's see. Because I got to check pupils. I got to look at wounds. So I have a bunch of these small EDC lights. And as you can tell, I'm a big fan of Olight. Actually, my Olight S Mini Ti is sitting over there on the counter. And so I have that. Areas versus Scout. How about I make you that video, Ryan? I'm going to make that video, and we'll talk about that. What's my favorite Olight? Let's see. My favorite Olight is, if I have to choose one, I would choose the S1R because it's the most powerful and it's rechargeable and it's the lightest and very easy to carry. But my favorite one is probably is one of these two, the copper one or the brass one, the original ones that they did. Now they're selling this one right now. The Brass S Mini. This one is super classy. I picked this one up for Marshall Hoots after he passed away. Help his family out there. This light is pretty cool. This is a jet beam right here. Bright green. Goes well with my green knives. Pretty neat. Do you have any Olights? Yeah, I have a whole bunch of Olights. All those were Olights right there. Let's see. Have you checked out the MSR D4 light? Same size as what you have in your hand, but about as many lumens as all of those combined. No, I'll have to check that out. I would say that there's kind of a limit on what I would pay for a light. I would say that, you know, there's a point of diminishing returns for these lights that comes a lot sooner than knives for me. I really only need a light to be so bright, and somewhere, you know, this light at like 500 lumens is bright enough to blind somebody, so I'm totally fine with that. The MSR D4 is 35 bucks. That's a pretty damn good price, actually. That's cheaper than all of those O lights that I've got over there. So I may have to check that out, my friend. I appreciate it. Shoot me a link sometime in a video or send me an email with it. Have you played with a Wii 618? I honestly love it more than 99% of other knives. Super smooth, hand-rubbed M390 and PVD-coated titanium. I have not handled a 618. I would like to do that. How many hours do you work per day? That depends on the day, my friend. I've been rather prolific recently because my schedule has somewhat relaxed. I'm a more senior resident right now, and so I'm not constantly in-house on 24-hour call. I'm actually on call right now, so if you hear my pager go off, it's because I'm on call for 4 hospitals around the city right now. Let's see here. Let's see. Multiple colors. Biggest knife pet peeve. Biggest knife pet peeve. Probably the medium-sized finger choil is probably my biggest pet peeve of anything. So I'm going to find a knife that's actually got it. This has it. This is that. This is my biggest pet peeve on any knife. Nick does a great job of doing these peeve videos, of doing these things. So yeah, pager. Yes, I have a pager. What city do I live in? I'm not going to give you my address, my friend. I do not have the Eschaton on pre-order, and I don't think I'm going to buy it. I would have probably picked one up at $250, but at $350 I may have to pass. But if you want to send me one, please send me one. I would be happy to check it out. Aaron, I have to head out. Thanks for reading my comment. We'll send you a link for that light. Thanks, dude. I'm always checking it out. Vinny, damn it, dude. What's your social security number? Oh, dude. You know what? This GM3 is also wildly off-center, and I can't get it fixed. I feel so bad. I feel like I am a lightning rod for lemons in the EDC community. I've gotten so many quote-unquote good knives. You know, this Anthem, this GM3. I'm sorry, Mitch, dude. If Mitch is still in here, man, it's terrible. These knives are just completely off-center, and I cannot fix them. And I've just managed to get a handful of knives that are just doing bad. Actually, I just talked to my buddy Perry, and the Starboy is coming back for a 3rd time here pretty soon. So that should be interesting. Hopefully, he finally gets it right. That knife is going to be super excellent if it's all the way done. Surprised you're not more of a pen light guy. No, the pen lights just aren't quite as powerful. I actually use these as both flashlight and as a sort of a thing. And I love the small, compact size. I can wear this on the waistband like I do with my knives rather than in a pocket. I'll lose the pen. Have I ever tried a Wayfarer? So I actually did a review on the 24/7 thanks to my good buddy Tony Mader. He sent that one over. And that one will be coming out sometime in the next few weeks. I'm actually sitting on probably 10 or 12 videos right now that need to be released. But I like to release them kind of in a controlled fashion so that you guys stay interested in me. I don't want to become boring or irrelevant there. Herb Toker. I've been really disappointed in Browse. Herb, bro, you and I are going to be friends. I hate Browse. They're literally the worst company ever. I'm sorry, you know, Jason Browse seems like a decent enough dude, but man, those knives are friggin' terrible. I feel bad for the people at Browse. I hate talking badly about a product. Believe me, I want all these knives to be awesome. But whenever I pick up any Browse, it's extremely disappointing. And they used to cost like $700, $500. And did you see how he's now dropped the price? They're all $99 for the same exact knives. So you actually see what's happening, dude. You guys need to know you should not buy those knives. If I can recommend or not recommend a single manufacturer, don't buy a Browse knife. There is no reason in the entire world to buy one. They could do so much better, they aren't even trying. That's totally true. Their designs are somewhat inspired. I will give them that much. They're unique, to say the least. They don't speak to me. They're a little bit weird, all that bionic stuff that they've got going on. But, you know, it's interesting. but just not into it. Favorite production knife? My favorite production knife? That's an easy question to answer, my friend. Right here, bro. ZT0392. My absolute favorite production knife of all time. This is as good as any custom knife that I've ever handled, and it's just as smooth. What did your 0392 cost to mod? I presume that you are talking about the one that I have been calling the Steam Frunk recently. Some people said it kind of looked like steampunkish, but I call it the Steam Frunk. This guy cost $367 to modify. This knife only cost $400 to buy, so I basically bought the knife over again in order to modify it. So I wouldn't really recommend that you do that to your knives unless you're absolutely insane like I am. But it was worth it to me. This knife is absolutely awesome. It's got that compound grind. I'll show it off again. I showed it off earlier in the video. But I'm just sitting here chilling. My next knife is a 0392 brown gold. Well, I will sell you this one for $1.3 million. We talked about that price earlier. Oh, man. Have you tried Best Tech? Pretty damn nice for the price. To be honest, these smaller Chinese brands, Best Tech, Ruik, that Kevin Cleary has been doing a lot of reviews of, and some of these other ones, I'm letting them mature a little bit. They're on my radar, but I'm not really picking it up. Not yet, anyways. What's up, Stasa? How you doing, brother? How you doing? My Louisiana brother right there. He and I are both located in this great state right here. Let's see. I'm going to read back through some of these comments here. ZT is killing the competition. U.S. made. Warranty is amazing. Fit and finish is impressive. Sorry, I'm shaking my own camera doing this. ZT is hard to beat across the board. That's 100% true. This 0920 is, if this is any estimation. So basically what this 0920 is, it takes all the good stuff about the 0392 series, the smoothness, the D10, and all the quality, and it brings it into the production fold. Imagine if this one had been milled out internally. It's not milled out, but imagine the technology that ZT is bringing to their production lineup. You know what? Let's just go ahead and do this. We're just chilling here. I don't need to go to bed. Do you guys need to go to bed? We're all adults here. Who needs to go to bed? Nobody needs to go to bed. Just stay awake. Alright, I'm just going to take this knife apart. Let's have some fun. Let's enjoy this video while we're here. Why not? Stas. We'll sleep when we're dead. That's right. Unfortunately, that might be a lot sooner if I have to go bust out and drive somewhere. So I'm going to just take this knife apart. We're going to see what I'm talking about here. The 0920, you guys have probably seen 400 videos on this knife already. I'm way behind the curve in picking this one up, but I finally was able to find one for a reasonable price on the secondary market. So I was really happy to get that in hand. So boom, taken apart. Oh, look at that. They even matched the washers and made them bronze on the inside. That's kind of cool. I work nights and I'm off today. Sleep is for the week. I'm on 25 milligrams of Ambien. Holy shit, dude. Don't go driving. I hope you're not drinking. Doc, this is an awesome night. Thank you, bro. Fist bump right there, dude. Yeah, I'm just chilling, man. Any thoughts on Mass Drop exclusives and collabs? To be honest, I think Mass Drop is doing a great thing, man. I like that they're bringing affordable knives into the fold. I did a video on those Ferrum Forge exclusives, so if you're really curious about what I think, go and check that video out. I do like the fact that they're doing it. I'm always looking for quality, affordable knives. I know I buy these expensive knives all the time, but you know, I'm always happy to find a quality piece. This is 135 bucks, but I'm looking for quality knives. You know, I mentioned earlier that this M4 Manix has blown me away to the point where I decided to keep it rather than selling it. So always looking for good budget options. I would love to see Mass Drop continue to do what they're doing and come up with that. So we were talking about ZT's quality. Take a look at the inside here, guys. This whole scale is milled out. You're going to find that on a frickin' Three Bears Shirogorov. Shirogorov is going to charge you $1,000 to do that to a knife. You know what I mean? This knife is not milled out. I've got my F3 right here. But look at this. ZT is giving you this for $240. Perfectly milled out, nicely pocketed, beautifully done. The 0055 was also internally milled. you know, I just cannot argue with the ZT's results. They are so good right now. They are killing the game. Very, very happy with how they're doing. Put this thing back together here. Why don't we just throw a little bit of lube on it while we're doing it? Let's see, where did I put that stuff? Here we go. What do you guys like to use for lube? I always use this 10-weight nano oil. Is there anything else that you guys like to use? One of these days I might run out of this stuff. There's so much lube in this, though. I can't imagine running out anytime in the next decade. So we'll see. When I get a new jar of lube, what do you think I should get? You know, in a decade. Nano oil, Astroglide, blue lube. Oh yeah, that's right, Lane. What's up, dude? You're all about that blue lube now. I may have to try that. I may try it on my Benz. I think it would be good on the Benz. The Benza. Just picked that guy up a couple of days ago. Really excited about that. Look how skinny this pivot is. It just goes to show you, and I learned this watching the Ferrum Forge Knife Works videos. All these knives with these oversized pivots, it's actually totally not necessary. These pivots actually function quite well, being very small. In fact, the smaller the pivot, the less friction there's going to be, and the strength is not really determined by the size of the pivot, but rather some of the other components like the stop pin and the lock bar. I'm going to put this guy back together here. I'll give it a little bit more lube. Can't hurt to put some more Drizzops on there. This is fun, dudes. Having a good time. Blue lube, nano oil, blue lube, EWL 2000 gun oil, drives like tough guy, but overkill for a knife. Dewa oils. Okay. I don't know what that stuff is. You know, I'm kind of curious about other types of lube. You know, like I know a little bit about chemistry. It was my major in college, and that's one of the things that fascinates me about knives in general, is the sort of the chemistry of the steels and everything. But certainly interested in the chemistries of lubes as well. You know, silicone, graphite, these other things that we don't really talk about. We use these oils, but they may not be really the ideal lubes for some of these things. So I'm always looking for new stuff. Tough Glide. Next one, someone is going to say Astroglide. I think they said that. Fishing reels get wet. Any input on factory knives? They look great. No, I don't know anything about factory knives. I saw that they had a knife out, but I don't know anything about it. Again, I kind of wait for some of these smaller knives companies to kind of blossom before I start buying into them. It took me a while to buy into Kaiser. Took me a while to buy into Riot. And, you know, those knife companies are great. I love those knives. And I think that these other companies are going to do well. But I kind of have to spend my money carefully because I fund this channel completely with my own money, which is not all that much. Oh, yeah. Man, that is a smooth knife. That is incredible. 0920, dudes. Very, very nice knife from 2017. More functional than the 0055, more functional than the 0850, but just a little bit bigger. Factor equipment, yeah, probably. That's probably the knife company we're talking about there. You know what knife I am interested in? So I'm just going to put this out there. Random knife. Steel Will Gecko. Steel Will Gecko. That knife has a back lock. It has red micarta and D2 steel. I'm very curious about that knife, and I have been this close to purchasing that about 10 times. If anyone has one and wants to send it to me, go ahead. If you guys are interested in seeing a review about it, let me know, and I might pick one up. But it's so overpriced for what you get. What's overpriced for what you get? The Gecko? I don't really know. That's another reason that I haven't picked one up. They had a good sale a while back, but I didn't pick one up. I just sold my mini Gecko. The Gecko's overpriced. I'd like to see one. Clip mount on the show side of 0920 is fugly. Yeah, well, you know, it's okay. To be perfectly honest, let me show you this. Let me show you why I don't think that this is fugly, okay? Look at what they had to do in order to make this happen. Look at the mill lines that go across and around this. Yes, it's unsightly in a way, but just look, think of the programming that had to be done to generate that 3D milled sort of design right there. Someone stayed up really late at night and got a really bad headache coming up with how to do that. So definitely nice. Very impressed. And it really is a testament to Les George, because Les George is all about his milling. And I think that they did a very good job with this. Very nice in the hand. This video is going to be coming out in a little bit. Oh, what's up, Spade? Welcome back, dude. How you doing, Nate? What you're looking at are two knives that are probably going to go over to Nathan here in the very near future. Bro, we got to come up with some interesting designs to do on these two guys. I have a vision for what we're going to do on the ZT right here, but this is our new blank canvas. These are my two new project knives right here. Very interested in this. Something else I want you to be aware of, if you're thinking about picking up one of these carders, be aware that when I closed it very aggressively, it actually hit the backspacer, I think. It's still quite sharp. It didn't dull the blade at all, but that is a thing. That is a thing. Still look better without the lanyard holes. I have the iconic CF2. It's pretty much, let's see, too bad being a rip-off. How much for the anno jobs and a slab-sided tie lock? I don't know, Nate. How much for an anno job on a slab-sided tie knife? What if I sent you this knife and all I wanted you to do was turn a green? How much would that cost? Spade is probably the best in the business right now. I've worked with a few folks. To be honest, if you're going to get your edge done, send it over to Nate. Seriously. This guy knows what he's doing when it comes to edges. Here is the Benchmade Anthem right here. The blade should never hit the backspacer. It's true. They should never hit. I did have to sort of futz with that. I may end up sending it back. I already sent a message to Ontario Knife Company, and I spoke to Rob Carter about it a little bit, actually. I love the green. The high voltage colors are best. Who's your favorite customizer as of late? That's got to be Nate, dude. Nate from Spade Knife Works. I'm showing off his work. He did this. He did this. Amazing work. Really nice edge on that Anthem. Now, I'll tell you something. Now, Spade, Nate over there. So, let's have a discussion about edges real quick. So, there is a difference between a mirror edge and a good edge. Just because it's mirrored does not mean that it's a good edge. Now, this is something that I've learned from Nate. He's done a good job of explaining it to me. But just because it is mirrored doesn't mean that it's actually ultra sharp. As a matter of fact, if you take an edge to an actual true mirror polish, it's not going to slice quite as well. But what he does, and I don't know if it's going to show up. If this is still coming through in SD, I'm pissed because I wish that this would just go in HD. And it's probably not going to show, but he actually takes it to a full mirror, and then he goes back and he puts in some little micro teeth on the edge. And so, very, very cool. The polish doesn't mean apex, micro serrations. Right, micro bevel, micro bevels. See, I'm still learning this stuff. I'm very new at all this. You know, I've been doing this for a little over 2 years, collecting and learning about this stuff. I know a little bit, but I am no expert, and I always welcome the opinions and the expertise of some of you guys out there. It's a whole lot of fun to talk to everyone because there are like engineers out there. There are people who worked with steel. There are people that are machinists and other things, and I absolutely love the diversity of people that come through this this hobby, and I like learning from everyone. I'm trying to become an expert on this, but I still certainly have a long way to go, as is evidenced by some of my faux pas recently on my videos. I can go ahead and issue some errata from some of my recent videos. The Fuller issue on the Arcform Slimfoot. A bunch of people gave me hell because I apparently don't know what fullers are actually used for. They're not for blood grooves. They're for lightening blades and strengthening blades. I kind of knew that, but, you know, I make these videos and I don't edit them and then I don't take them down. So sometimes I have my foot in my mouth because I say the wrong thing, and it happens every now and then. Anyways, guys, I am actually going to have to probably wrap this up here in a little while. I really, really enjoy hanging out with you guys. I'm going to try to do more of these live videos more often when I have the time. Just because I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy your questions, and I just kind of like having everyone hanging out in the same room and just chilling, talking to each other, maybe making some deals, making some trades, selling some knives. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thanks for stopping by, Ryan, Eli, Lane, James, everybody who just said thanks. Whole lot of fun, guys. I appreciate this very much. If you didn't watch my video tonight on the new Carter Squared, go and check that guy out. That's on the channel right now. A lot of great content coming for you. My Koenig Arius will be here later this week. My Brown Servo will be here a little bit after that, and then the Brian Nadeau Mini Typhoon will be here shortly too. Just a sneak preview of what's coming up. So thanks, guys, for stopping by. As always, guys, this is Dr. Frankie saying take care.